What's up? I'm Hawk, the host over on Infinity HD Productions, and I'm here with...
Hey, all you fans out there. This is Libris Blood. And this is the first episode of our joint project. This is our new podcast called 360 Perspective. So, me and Hawk have been friends for, I want to say 2 years now?
2 years. That's
about 2 years. And we decided, like a while ago, that we wanted to do a joint project between our two channels. And we sat down for coffee and we actually came up with the idea of doing a podcast. Oh, am I too close to
Well, the issue is your arms are on the desk and it shakes.
Oh, sorry. So, yeah. If you can't tell, I like to lean into the mic from my videos. Like, it's a habit. But, yeah, no. We were sitting down, we were having coffee, and the idea of a podcast came up because we usually go on these tangents or these rants when we're talking.
Originally, the title was going to be Side Chat. Turns out that's already taken.
Yeah. And then we, Hawk didn't want something with rant in it. He suggested 360 perspective. And we checked, it was open, it was available, so we rolled with it. It was actually pretty good. We did try a lot of different ideas for what the logo's gonna look, so we hope you guys like the one that we have. But yeah, so throughout the podcast we're going to be actually using our real names. But for the sake of trying to find us online or finding us on YouTube and all of that, my channel's name is also Libris Blood. I just use my name for my channel. We both actually run gaming channels.
Yeah. I haven't had too much content over the past, I want to say year. College has been a bit rough this year, but with summer starting up, I'm trying to get back into it.
Yeah, and for me, I started last summer. I had a YouTube channel a few years back. That makes me sound really old, but I had a YouTube channel back when I was in, I think, middle school to high school. Worked. I think it was like middle school to high school. That was when I started my first YouTube channel. That kind of died out for me, and I started one up again last summer, actually. I have a few games. I have learned a lot in my last few months of actually doing recordings. If any of you have watched my videos before and you have seen the newer ones for our new series, which is Notch, that one is the only one where I actually use a real mic. It's the same mic we're actually using now. It's a lot better than using my computer's default mic because in that you get a lot of feedback from the actual computer.
Yeah. Just in case anyone is wondering, we're using my Blue Yeti microphone. Fantastic microphone, high quality. Also not sponsored. I just realized that sounded like a hashtag buy.
Yeah, no.
Sell out.
This is not...
Sell out. Everyone in the comments.
This is episode 1, too. But no, Yeti mics are actually really nice. Any of the microphones from Blue are actually really high quality, excellent. This isn't us, like, trying to be sponsored by them, but, like, this is actually a really great product. I actually love these mics.
Oh, yeah. I endorse them 100%. I love these microphones.
I actually, I picked one up too. Different color than yours, but like I picked one up with a bunch of attachments.
Why you gotta bring color into this, man? No.
Well, because yours is silver. That's gonna stain. I have so much stuff in my room.
You took my comment way too literally.
I know. Well, no, but like look at all my stuff. Like all my stuff is dark colored, so it doesn't stain that bad. What am I gonna do? Drop like liquid white Crayola all over my stuff?
Oh, actually, what you could do is spray bleach at it, and then it gets little splotchy dots.
Yeah, spray. When am I ever gonna use bleach?
One time in high school, so I got this brand new black shirt. I'm sorry, we're just going off on random tangents at this point. And first day I'm wearing it, I got the shirt for my birthday. Kid in art class takes the bleach bottle and sprays it at me. And I'm like, what the fuck, kid? What the fuck?
You gotta be kidding. Oh, so this is for my channel. Like, it's a PSA, not really a PSA, but like, in case you're wondering, yes, I will be swearing in this. It doesn't pop up a lot on my channel. I don't know why. I guess it's like the YouTubers that I've talked to usually make their content very PG. I'm usually recording at my house, and when I first started YouTube, I did a lot of PG stuff because I was in high school and all of that. Is like, I didn't want to be saying it's like, oh fuck, what shit, damn it, like.
And for those of you on my channel, well, you already know I have a tendency not to hold back much.
Yeah.
I don't have a filter when I'm recording. I don't really have one in general.
You know what I realized? We went off on a tangent. I completely forgot how we even got there, because we were mentioning like how we're gonna use our actual names. So my channel's name and my name on YouTube is Librous Blood. We're only gonna be using first names. So my actual first name is Brandon. I think it's come up on the channel quite a bit. Either by people who you can hear, which is my family, like yelling, and they actually get picked up by my mic, which is why I need to get a new one, which I have done.
The Blue Yeti won't help. If anything, you'll hear them more.
Yeah, but it won't be all muffled and like crackly, because it makes my mic freak out.
Oh yeah,
my current mic freaks out.
I used to use a lapel mic when I first got into this, and oh my god, was that bad? Imagine trying to like shift in your chair or move your shirt. Anyway, yeah, my first name is Henry, so I'll be going by that. Like I said, my channel is Infinity HD Productions. We'll be posting this on both of our channels and with links to the other in it, just to let you guys know.
Yep. And then are we gonna see if we could put this on a podcast type of site?
I don't know. I can look into that. I mean,
yeah.
I figure just start out on YouTube, but see where it goes.
I feel like just in case, so we can make sure like nobody takes the name, we don't get copyright.
I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, the moment we produce the content, it's copywritten under the way the laws are written.
Okay.
Because first one to produce something under a certain form technically has creative rights to it.
Yeah. Unless if they have more money.
Also true. Also true. But I mean, let's be honest. If Google wanted to buy us out, I'd sell it.
I'd probably, yeah. If it was really that much of an issue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Your chair is not as easy to like get closer to the mic.
No, yeah, my chair is a leather squeechy sound. Like, goddamn.
Oh god.
So.
But yeah, so we do a lot of gameplay. I know for my channel, some of my videos are very long. I do a little bit more. It's very surprising I didn't decide to buy a mic until now.
Especially considering you do viz novels. I mean, you read a lot on your channel.
If you don't know what viz novel is, like a visual novel. And what visual novels are essentially kind of like pick your own adventure type games. There are certain set decisions, choices that you can make that affect the end game or the end story. There's a for each of the paths there's a regular ending, and then there's a true ending. And it's like if you're playing like with one that's like stat based, which Always Remember Me is one of those types of games. I believe, oh my gosh, what is it? Amnesia Memories is one of those. These are just ones that I actually know of. But most visual novels, there's usually the regular ending and then the true ending. A couple of visual novels tend to be, not a couple, like a good amount of visual novels actually tend to be also romance based.
Yeah, it's like the two major versions that I see are either romance or something to do with depression. Like those are the two major things that themes that I've seen in viz novels.
That's why I told you to check out the one that I borrowed your mic for, which is Notch, because Notch is Notch I'm just gonna say that like the full title. From here on, I'm gonna reference it as Notch, but the full title is Notch the Innocent Luna Eclipsed Sinners. Or actually, hold on, let me do my announcer voice. Notch,
Penis.
the Innocent Luna Eclipsed Sinners.
Oh, I was really hoping that would crack you up. Goddamn.
I've been trained. Yeah. So I'll talk in this voice a little bit. Most of the time, I talk in a little bit deeper of a voice. As you can see from the profile picture for my channel that I use,
It's scary.
it's okay. I get it. It's scary. I feel like it's a perfectly normal picture. It's, you know, it was a couple Halloweens ago. Yeah, it was like 2 Halloweens ago. And a friend was putting together a haunted house. So they're putting together a haunted house, and they decided that it was gonna be held on our campus. And if you guys don't know, we're both in college still.
Woo! Get your education.
God, I'm old.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're...
No, I feel so bad. I'm not actually.
You're not even 21.
Oh, well, there goes my... Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Like, a lot of people on my channel actually know my actual age. I think I mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, I guess your profile picture isn't necessarily scary. It's just more disconcerting. Like, looking at it, I don't know what your videos or what your content is going to be. I just see a picture of a guy dressed as a damn zombie.
I remember somebody telling me at work, actually, one of my coworkers, we were just doing some really easy work. It was not that high intensity, like, not very intensive work. But one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, you do YouTube? Where's your stuff?" And of course, I let my other buddy go first because he has a channel that he doesn't run anymore, which is kind of sad. But yeah, she asked me, and she's like, "Yeah, so what do you do for your channel? Like, what is your name?" I was like, "Oh, my name is Libris Blood." I'm just like, "Okay, so what do you do?" She immediately did that, like, switch around to our other coworker, and I was just like, what?
Didn't she, like, think you did cultist crap?
She honestly thought she was like, "I don't know what you do on that channel, but, like, it's from the name, it sounds like you're beating animals
Oh my
to
god.
death." I'm like, "Hey, that's horribly wrong." Like, not in, like, the sense, like, it's not only in the sense that it's like, that's not what I do on my channel, but morally, that's also horrible.
That's also horrible, and where do you even get that?
I don't know.
Like,
they
I
heard
mean-
Libris Blood, and I was just like, what, to get back to like why that is, it's like, I play a little bit of D&D, right? So that's where, so before we continue, this first initial portion is going to be us talking about our channels and, like, kind of the things about them, like what people have thought. But yeah, no, like, I used to play, or not used to, I still play a lot of D&D, and I love music, and I used to watch shows called Saint Seiya, and it's all about constellations and shit like that. So I was like, oh, I think the Libra constellation is pretty cool. You know, the scales, the
That's
judgment.
me, I'm a Libra.
And then, yeah, and then I was like,
sorry if you
music.
can hear me shifting.
There's a constellation. It's called Lyra, and it's like a lyre. A lyre is like, it's an old kind of harp-like instrument, handheld harp.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let me combine these two names as best as I can. And that's where I got Libra. And then I was like, all right, let me get a full name here. It's like Libris Blood. I don't know why that came to me first. It was the last name Blood, but it was like, it worked.
See, when I first heard it, I immediately thought about ligers. So I'm just like, whoa, what are you doing with ligers here? So maybe that's where she got it from.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, that was like a whole discussion that was just awful. I'm just like, no, it's a gaming channel, but like I don't do a lot of gameplay where I'm playing games. I did when I started the channel. Hawk knows this. He watched a couple of my 100% orange juice videos, which were pretty good.
I liked the quality. I just get bored by watching other people play a board game.
Yeah, that was the issue.
It got tedious.
Yeah, and the other problem I think is like I got very distracted when I tried to do RPGs because I sit down and I just
see. I'm on my channel. I actually play a lot of RPGs. I think actually right now because I did a clear on most of my videos a few years back, but most of my content is Fallout 3 and 4. So, open world. I really like getting lost in the game. I like the idea of immersion and getting distracted. I don't really continue most of those series, mainly because my Fallout 4 game has a tendency to crash every 5 minutes. And I was recording Fallout 3 on my Xbox, which I no longer own. So it's like
that would be a very large problem.
Because it's like, have you ever tried to play Fallout 4 on a PC? Unless you have an operating system that is before Windows 7, it doesn't work. It literally does not start up.
Why?
I have no idea, and Bethesda has said that they aren't going to release a fix for it. So I'm just like, why? What the hell?
So you have to downgrade your system to play it.
Pretty much.
So you might as well just build a tower only dedicated to games that can only run on that kind of a system.
Yeah, like I might as well go back to Vista and just say, okay, what can I run? Some good old Pong. Oh, no,
Yeah.
Pong would have been way back.
God.
Oh, my
Pong
God.
would be so way back.
Okay, Windows Vista would be snoods.
Were those the
little
like...
faces that you shot up and tried to... It's like reverse Tetris.
Oh, no, I'm thinking something else.
Yeah.
Oh, now I remember the game I was thinking. I was thinking of Zumbinis.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like, oh, wait, no, that's a completely different game. It's a completely different game.
The way I originally got into YouTube was actually, of course, classic story, watching other YouTubers.
Same.
One of the reasons I do Fallout a lot is because it's my favorite game, and I used to watch a lot of videos on it. I highly recommend checking out Al Chessbreach. Love him. He's the first guy I ever subscribed to. And then I take a lot of inspiration from, like, a kind of sketch type art on YouTube. So, like, drawings or machinima. I'm a big fan of Rooster Teeth. I like Red versus Blue.
It's wonderful.
So that's why one of the things I like to do is I like to write scripts and hope I can, at one point, get into machinima.
Yeah. I mean, you have very good concepts.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of this, because, like, me and Hawk are actually roommates for only, like, a few more days.
For only a few more days.
We'll
still be, like, what, 2 floors away from each other next year?
Maybe. Because I'm trying to...
Oh, yeah, you're switching out.
I'm switching, like, rooms. Trying to. The joys of, like, adulthood and when you, like, make decisions that are better for your health. Or when you just have fallouts with
Fallouts.
But fallouts with friends.
Yeah.
It's,
I don't know.
I think it'll be for the better.
Adulting is hard. I just realized you're still wearing my fedora.
Yeah.
Is your shirt still inside out? It is, isn't it?
It's too late at this point.
It's too late. It's a trap.
Misa no. That wasn't even a good Jar Jar.
That wasn't even a good Jar Jar. Well, Jar Jar isn't a good Jar Jar.
Jar.
Oh, Lord. The greatest Sith Lord of all time.
I fucking hate Jar Jar. He's so annoying.
When I was 3, I found him entertaining. And then my humor evolved.
I kind of thought Jar Jar died in the first one. Not the first one, but like in the 4 and 4.
Well, technically, it's the first one.
Technically, it was the first one that people our age generally got introduced to, unless they had real Star Wars fan
Like parents.
for parents.
I don't know. My parents lived through the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So, like, late 70s when Star Wars came out, that was the bomb. They would tell stories about how people saw it 8 times in a row for those special effects. And I'm sitting there like, that's a plastic model there. That's real nice workmanship. Craftsmanship, I mean.
No. I remember my dad's like a big reader and kind of a film buff. So I've seen quite a bit of films, or quite a few films that are really good. I remember as a kid, I think I was like 6 or 7. My dad let me watch Braveheart with him.
Oh, sweet.
It was such a good, like, nowadays some parents won't let their kids watch that kind of stuff, but I'm just like, oh, dude, I loved it.
Well, the only reason I wouldn't let someone watch is because of Mel Gibson, but that's a whole different thing. Have you ever noticed in that movie there's a scene and there's a car in the background?
Oh, God.
Oh, it is incredible.
I've seen it quite a bit, because I've done reports on it for like school, but like I've never noticed that.
It's like there's a battle scene, and when they go to charge, you can just see this white car driving in the background. It is hilarious. That's what they get for hiring an Australian. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
To anyone from Australia, that was
my
a joke.
uncle's from Australia.
Oh,
well, no, he lives there. Or my cousins are from Australia.
Is that the same French cousin?
No.
Oh, thank God.
No, I have family, like, my family is actually very expensive. It's very weird.
I was about to say, you're Filipino, you're like 3 or 4 different things.
I'm
and
Filipino
then your family,
and Puerto Rican.
Filipino and Puerto Rican. I forgot the other one for some odd reason.
What other one?
I meant the Puerto Rican.
Oh, I was like,
one.
yeah,
I was like,
Filipino and Puerto Rican.
Filipino and a thing.
We just mentioned this because, like, I have that, because Hawk told me one of these times we were going to go get food. He was just like, oh, you got this really Bruno Mars-esque kind of thing going on. Here, let me toss you my fedora. I'm just like, yeah, no shit, because Bruno Mars is Puerto Rican and Filipino. For damn sure he is Filipino. I'm not 100% on the Puerto Rican, but he is Filipino and Hispanic or Latino.
Yeah. Careful about tapping the table.
Oh yeah, shit. Shit. I have to lean it. Okay, no. I don't have armrests like you.
Arriba. Well, hey, man, you can always sit in my lap. No.
Jesus Christ.
So,
oh my gosh. But yeah, no. Yeah, no, my family is actually from quite a bit. Like, we move around. Well, not move around. Like, we, at least on my mom's side,
so like,
they live every which way. Everywhere.
So, like, could you list a few countries? Clearly Australia. I know France was a thing.
Australia, France, I think Africa.
Okay.
I think it's Nigeria. Two of my aunts are from Nigeria.
Did I've told you about my African brother-in-law, right?
No.
Oh, sweet guy. Love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just married my sister, I want to say, this past winter. Yeah, it was one of those, like, speed marriages because he had to come to the country on a visa, and, like, it can only last for so long.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That's cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, because you went to a wedding last semester.
Yes, I did.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
Some things, like, are, like, beyond me. I always forget.
Yeah, I was sitting there like, was that last semester, or was that like a year ago?
No.
Time flies. Yeah, it was in the winter.
Semester.
It was
in
last
winter.
semester.
That's why. Yeah, no, it was Australia, France, Africa. Not Africa.
I would
Nigeria.
assume the Philippines and Puerto Rico.
Philippines, Puerto Rico. We still have some family on the islands.
Okay.
Various parts across the U.S.
Well, naturally.
Yeah, naturally. Canada. That's about it for my actual knowledge. It gets really hard to remember all of it because I have so many cousins and
For some reason, I'm now imagining a Canadian version
aunts
of
and
you.
uncles. Canadian version of me.
I'm like, oh, that would sound so weird.
Oh gosh. I don't know what you're talking about.
Minnesota. I mean, that's America, but still.
Yeah, it's I can't remember how to do that accent.
How did you? Which accent?
You know, I really don't know. I really don't
Oh, okay.
know.
So you were just gonna make sounds at that point.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, like I have a pretty vast range for my voice.
Yep. Didn't you just move from a baritone up to what are you?
I'm not a full tenor, no.
You're not a
I'm
full
still a
tenor?
baritone. I can
Okay.
just hit more tenor notes now.
Okay.
So I can go pretty low in my voice.
James Earl Jones.
I could never hope to be James Earl Jones. Life goals: James Earl Jones, Mark Hamill.
So 2 Star Wars characters?
Yes.
Dear Lord.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I grew up with Mark Hamill. Not
As
really
the
remembering
Joker.
him for Star Wars, but like
As the Joker.
as Joker. Yeah,
Yep.
it's iconic.
He does the perfect Joker voice. I actually kind of want to see a live action movie where they just dress him up as Joker. I would totally be down for this.
Right? Wait, there's some
Well,
lines.
he has
for
the
Joker.
face for it.
He does. I just don't think he wants to do it. Here,
Just-
let me look up some of the lines.
Okay. Ugh.
So talk about your channel.
So
You're going
my-
on a lot about mine.
My channel. Oh, I don't really know. Right now I'm writing a script for a Grand Theft Auto based machinima. I advertised that in a trailer like 2 years ago, and then the project disappeared. I just recently found the original draft in my Google Drive. Other than that, I'm trying to look into updating at least weekly. I'm hoping to switch to a bi-daily schedule. Not quite sure what I want to record though. I used to be really big into AAA games, but they're just so expensive, and my issue with games these days is companies have a tendency not to actually finish them. And that just really puts me off, so I've been moving more into the indie direction lately. You find those lines yet?
Trying to find them so that they're not in a YouTube.
It's fine. We can risk being demonetized, mostly because this won't be monetized. We're too small for that.
Yeah, I never.
Bum 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 bada bum 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 bum.
Oh my
ba-da-da-da-dum.
gosh. Keep talking about your channel.
What more is there to talk about? I've covered most of my content. Let's see.
Alright, I guess like I'll.
I mean, originally my channel was intended to be a collab-based channel. I had some friends that I was going to bring on, and we were going to do like a group. That's why I switched my original channel name from Hawk to Infinity HD Productions. I wanted it to be more of a company, like a group that could come together to do stuff. So yeah, I'm mostly just looking to do some creative things and throw that out on the channel. Were you about to say something? Brandon.
Give me a second. Alright.
Oh, that's a commercial.
Yeah, I know. I know it is.
Do you know?
Oh, of course. Because why would we put subtitles?
Oh,
Oh, wait. Oh my. This was so easy last time.
that's what she said.
You know what? You know what, Henry?
Is that you trying to be Mickey Mouse because it isn't working?
I know.
Oh.
I try.
So the first topic we wanted to cover today was either horror games or writing. So I mean, what do you want to do based off of that? I mean, kind of going off what I was discussing earlier about
let's do
games,
writing.
about like games not being entirely finished. You want to do writing?
Oh wait, no. Games.
Like I was
I was half listening. I'm sorry.
like, I don't know. I play a lot of strategy games these days, and recently Paradox, it's a big company in the strategy industry, the RTS. I don't know. They recently came out with a DLC for Crusader Kings 2. And it's like half finished. There are entire features missing that they have to update into it. And I'm like, why would I spend $15 on a DLC that isn't finished? And then you have games like, I remember specifically Battlefield 4 when that first came out. Like, oh god, that must have been like 2 years now. Broken. There were some things missing, very glitchy, poor data connection. It's just, it didn't work. And you have a lot of big companies like that just shovel out unfinished work, and these games have great potential, great stories, and you just can't meet that potential. Brandon?
All right,
Just
I'm done with
ignore the
Joker
Joker.
thing.
Ignore
Forget
the
it.
Joker.
Forget it. Oh, that probably spiked too much.
Yeah,
So
no, it did.
where were you?
I was just kind of discussing the idea of game companies not finishing the games before they put them out.
Oh, with the cliffhangers, and then they release
No.
a sequel that's not as good because it's not a whole game. It's the last quarter of the game beforehand.
I wasn't even looking at the kind of cliffhanger type thing. At least that makes sense to me, some bit.
On some games, yeah, I can understand
I
it.
feel like that's kind of milking it for money, but if you have a large trilogy, that makes sense. My main issue is like there are some companies that go to their development teams and say, here's when this needs to be released, and it doesn't matter what corners you have to cut.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is true. And there's that. This actually gets brought up because I just finished watching one of my favorite abridged series.
Right.
Like they actually put out their season 1 finale. I don't know if they're gonna do a season 2 of it. I hope they do, because the voices, like the actors who do the voices for the characters for the abridged series are wonderful. Mm-hmm. Like they're very funny. I wish I could go to more conventions so I could actually see which ones they're going to. But if you've never seen Something Witty Entertainment, they are wonderful. They're a great channel. I love their Sword Art Online abridged series. But in their last episode, this is high spoilers right now. So I'm gonna give you like what 10 seconds to skip ahead of this.
Essentially, yeah. Skip ahead. We'll put a time mark in the video if we remember as to where to skip to.
Yeah, we'll put it in when we're editing.
Yeah.
All right.
You can start
Okay.
talking.
Yeah. So I was gonna say. So if you're still listening, you already know that this is spoilers for episode 11 for SAO Abridged by Something Witty. So what SWE did was that for the last episode they made the lines that they wrote for Kayaba, who is the main villain in the first part of Sword Art Online Season 1. Kayaba Akihiko, who's the game designer, goes through and he makes a mention of like why the game is like why he created a game that would kill people. And what they did, like he does this in the actual show and there's
Jesus
a better
Christ.
reason. But like the thing that he says in the abridged series is that it was a mistake because he was being rushed by his company to make the game, and he didn't notice there was a glitch that would kill players if they died in the game.
What?
Because it's virtual reality.
Okay.
So you're hooked up to a helmet.
So it would cause
essentially.
like cardiac arrest or something, or your brain would just think you're dead. Like,
Yeah, it would kill you.
How does this work?
It would just like, because it's microwave, or like it's radio waves or like microwaves that are like being sent through your brain.
Nothing like microwaved brain. That's delicious.
Well, no, but like it's healthy healthy waves that can be transmitted to the brain, so you can actually see and experience this virtual world and see, smell, and taste everything, and touch everything, and like feel things. But he mentions this is like, so instead of like doing like very sensible things, he's just like, so I decided to lock everybody up and make everybody believe that I was a crazy mastermind until I could figure out how to fix things. And unfortunately, that made things worse, for obvious reasons, in the abridged series. But that wasn't his actual reason. Like in the show, in the real show, it's a much different thing. But the abridged series makes it much more funny because he's like, yeah, no, don't you think I tried to get an extension? The developers weren't having it. They said the game's already been delayed twice. Who cares if there's a few bugs in it? And he basically mentions how he stayed up for like 3 days straight trying to finish the game. Like, it's a massive game that's online, multiplayer. Like, it's a MMO.
Okay.
It's an MMO, and not only is it an MMO, it's an MMORPG.
Oh, Lord. Wait,
and is the first virtual reality massively multiplayer online role-playing game in their world.
So, like, was there not a team working on this?
There was a team, but like the way that they said in the abridged series, like this is all in the bridge series. I heard the fan go on, so it's like, yeah, because we have central. But yeah, no, this is all based on the abridged series, and it's a very real thing. Like sometimes developers or like the company says, no, we've already delayed it enough times. We can't delay it again. Yeah. You have to. But like it's at that thing where it's like, yeah, but sometimes the things that have to be finished on the game, there's only like 3 or 4 people who you actually can afford to hire, or that you chose to hire and are actually paying, that are doing this job. It's not humanly possible. And
like going back to the more reality bit of this, like this is why I no longer pre-order games, because it became a common theme where I would pre-order something that looked really good and I'd just get burnt on it. It was essentially shovelware. And like that's really disappointing for major series that I really enjoyed. I used to love Call of Duty. Ghosts, while it was a complete game, it just felt cut off for no reason, and like there wasn't as much effort put into it. Or there are so many things. Brink, back when I used to buy games purely because it was labeled Bethesda. Broken beyond belief. I don't even think it runs to this day. It just became an issue with me. Like the DLC I recently got for Crusader Kings 2. Same thing there. You can collect ingredients in that, but up until a week ago, and this DLC came out 2 or 3 months ago, you couldn't actually do anything with the ingredients. They were just sort of there.
Oh.
Like, what was the point?
That's it right there. There is no point. And this is like our slight rant about writing and gaming design. Like, we have nothing against the companies that we're mentioning. Like, we love them. Like, we love most gaming companies. Like, I do a lot more indie stuff from time to time because I find that there's a lot of talent that isn't, corporate or just like large things. It's just like maybe a couple friends who put out a game together, or like a couple people who have come from other workplaces talked
Oh, yeah,
and decided, all right, we're going to do this.
And there are entire communities built around some indie games, like Five Nights at Freddy's or Undertale. Undertale is the big one.
Undertale is a good
Oh,
one.
love
Do
that
not
game.
mention Five Nights at Freddy's.
Do not mention.
All right, that would be in our horror thing, and I will rant about that. But I think we're gonna do 2 different videos for today.
Yeah, we'll get next week's set up, and that's when we'll discuss horror.
Yeah. Because we'll record next week's today, and that way it gives me time to get the actual.
It's like going off of that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's as a horror game, not great. Like just from mechanics wise, it works perfectly. I understand why people like it, but it's jump scare after jump scare, and I favor more deep mechanics than that. Nothing against the creator. I mean, he has a great success, and there is a community built around it. So nothing to take away from them. And like Bethesda, I mentioned Bethesda by name. I still love that company. I think in the realm of things, their stuff may be buggy at times at launch, but they put a lot of craftsmanship and care into their stuff.
I mean, they fixed it in the end.
Oh, usually. PC ports have issues. But, I mean, most companies don't care about the PC audience.
I mean, and then there's a lot of games that's just... It's weird when you think about it, and you just see these large companies that push out something that just doesn't feel like it's all the way there. Because it used to be like... I do this a lot. Is like I'll look at games and then I'll see average playtimes, and usually how I've gauged it, because like if you've ever seen the Persona series or played any of the Persona games,
Didn't they just come out with Persona 5?
They came out with Persona 5 and it looks fucking looks beautiful.
Yeah, I saw a review for it.
But
gorgeous.
It's they're getting good reviews. Persona is one of those things where it's a whole game. Like the game, at least for Persona, the game has actually Persona 1 and Persona 2 didn't really get into the whole movie aspect of things or spawning series like actual animes, but Persona 3 and 4 did. And the game is Persona 3 is so long, especially if you bought Persona 3 FES, and FES just extends it. The normal game is 70 plus hours.
Jesus.
The add-on of FES is 30 plus hours. It's a really good game series. It's wonderful. Even the first game, which came on like PSP, it's so long.
The way I like to look at it, this is how I judge whether or not I feel a game is complete. Does it need DLC? Does it need an update to play it? Like, I loved Skyrim when it first came out. Oh my god, Skyrim, when was that made? 2010?
I was still in high school, yeah.
Yeah, like it feels like a recent game, like they still come out with new additions. But the way I looked at Skyrim was, I can play through it, and it doesn't feel like it needs anything else.
I mean, you could play through it. It takes so long to get through the game, and you know what? You learn new things every time you play it. That's how a game should be.
That's how it should be. It's
replayability.
Replayability. There's some sense of adventure, something you can gain out of it.
So, I'm trying to think of the game. You know what? I'm going to check something right now. But there's a game that I loved on PlayStation 2. And it was called Manakamiya, Alchemists of Al Revis. And if you've never heard of it, it's a really good game. I think it's made by the same developers who made Atelier.
Make sure it's turned down before you touch that.
So if you guys are wondering, I'm like lowering the volume on our TV so I can plug in Manakamiya so I can actually tell you what my playtime is on it. But like, it's a lot of high playability, in my opinion.
Like I feel that's what should be valued the most. I don't understand this obsession with having the shiniest new graphics. Like I love those. I think it's nice to have, but at the end of the day, I don't care how good it looks. I want to have the mechanics down. I want to be able to play the game and not stop playing the game. And I mean, these days, $60 isn't even the max anymore. There are some games that will sell for 80, and God forbid you get the super ultra edition of whatever.
It's limited edition.
Yeah, like, and special DLC. Oh my God, that irritates me so much. If you pre-order a game, you get something that no one else gets, because the truth is we're ripping content out just so that we can get more sales ahead of time.
See,
and it bothers me.
Like that. It really bothers me. Like, I was going to get Arkham Knight before my PlayStation
exploded,
and before I got my new laptop, which was new right around the time Arkham Knight actually dropped. But it's one of those things where it's like, I have so much playtime for games like RPGs that don't have the shiniest graphics. Like, they're not even 3D models. They're still the regular, like, JRPG,
like the little
like
sprites.
classic sprite graphics. You know, the RPG Maker kind of stuff. That's what it looks like.
Which are super fun, actually. There's a lot of stuff you can surprisingly
There's
do
so
with those
much
engines.
nostalgia, too. Because, like, oh my gosh, the amount of time I've played Pokemon or what is it? Even though I don't play the TCG, the actual hard copy TCG, I still play Yu-Gi-Oh games every now and then. Like, I have some issues with Konami stuff at times. Like, they're a great company. I just have issues at times with, like, how they run the game.
Yeah, I have an issue with
TCG.
their actual production standards and how the business runs. But generally speaking, Konami puts out some high quality games.
Right.
But
So we're about to see how much, because I beat this game. I think I've beaten the game 3 or 4 times. We will see. What is that? That's clear data.
Jesus Christ, how many saves do you have in this?
Oh, okay, so this one's actually the first file, and then you get a clear data.
Does that say 63 hours?
Yeah, it's 63 hours, plus I played this one. So that's...
So 74.
About 74.
Actually, if you look at the 56, so about 75 hours.
Yeah, so 75... I've actually played this game for 75 hours. I've played through it... oh, wait, I wonder which memory card it's reading it off of, though. Oh, shit.
Well, the point has been made.
Yeah, I think I clocked this in at like 100 something hours, because I have 2 different memory cards. The one that's in slot 1 is the one that's always red for this game. You can't switch between the 2.
Yeah.
Because on my second one is actually where I played through it multiple more times. So I've been in the game 2 or 3 times now, and I still haven't seen all the endings. I haven't collected all the things. It's great replayability.
See, and to me, that's why RPGs really cool. are the greatest games. Like, there's a high replayability with RPGs. And like, don't take this the wrong way. Not every story needs to be completely fleshed out. I like to have some lore, and I want the game to be finished with its main storyline. But there are some things that don't need an explanation, because it's fun to adventure and to come up with your own explanation for a lot of things. But there are often times where you don't even get a complete story. There are just holes, and it bothers me.
There are. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's an actual hole that's just like, it's not even there for a purpose. Like, what is the one I'm thinking of? Gosh, I'm trying to think of the game now. Because I played so... It was probably a PlayStation 3 game, and I can't remember any of them, because it's been a while since I played PS3.
Jeez. So, yeah, like, I guess that kind of touches on the writing portion, like, what do you want to portray with your story? Like, I understand why there are linear stories. That's the goal, is to give a specific message. But like, I love replayability. It's why I buy things. I want my money to stretch. I like to look at it as a dollar per hour system. That's a idea I got from Funhouse back when they first started up. The idea is that for every dollar you spend on a game, you should be able to get at least an hour out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of games that I consistently go back to. Like, yeah, there's PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, whatever's on PC, which
Steam is an endless pool.
I know there's so many games that like I have on my account that I have yet to fully beat at least once because they're so expansive, which is nice, but it's like there's so much of it so readily available to me.
Yes.
Which is nice and a problem at times. But one of the games that I bought, I actually bought it over a winter break. Decided, I can't remember which one it was. It was like either 2 years ago or 3. I picked it up. It's Fairy Fencer F. And I'm excited because the second game came out finally. Okay. I've been waiting for it because I've seen so much teaser information about it. From the website when I was looking up stuff for Fairy Fencer to find some additional guide help. Like I usually don't do that the first run through. I don't think I did the first run through. And now that it's like I've gone through the game 3 full times. So I have 70 plus hours on it actually already. I think it's like 76, 77. And I'm still trying to play back through it. So I played it 3 times. Case in point, you're seeing like a pattern. Like I really like to play through a game up until I have like almost everything. Sometimes, depending on the type of game. But for that one at least, I know. What is it? For that one at least, I know I picked it up winter break. I love the storyline. There were a lot of things that didn't really get explained at the beginning. Like, they do the whole flashback, like,
like the flash forward sequence, and then what happened before that, and that's where the game starts.
Like they do the thing where it's something that's like, they show you the scene, and then they bring you back a couple days.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of what I meant. And they move you back up to that point.
Yeah,
play up to that point again.
I really like that sequence.
I actually like that sequence. But there are a lot of things where it's just like, I gotta wonder, like, it's a wonderful game. There are just like some good holes in the plot that make you wonder, and like start to formulate what you assume, which is a good thing.
Is there enough lore for you to fill it in yourself? And in that instance,
there is.
Yes,
there is, and it's wonderful to kind of see that kind of a game where every time you play it, you get more and more information about certain things. Like you kind of find questions about things, because I know there are a bunch of secret characters that you can unlock, and some of them are very simple to get. Some of them are utter ass.
Yes. I feel
for how you have to unlock them.
The way I like to look at this is there are 3 different ways of kind of discovering the world around you when it comes to games. One is kind of the Mass Effect way, or what I like to call the Pokedex way. The moment you see something, you unlock all of that information and you can read it. So it's just sort of spoon-fed to you.
That's not how the Pokedex works.
I'm aware, but like just the idea of don't judge me.
I'm like, you have to actually, if you see it, it gives you the general idea, but you have to go catch it.
I'm aware. That's kind of what I meant, though. Just, do you want me to go into mass detail about what a Pokedex is?
Continue.
So there's sort of that where it gives you the background. There's the kind of open mystery, but it's somewhere in the world, so you can kind of piece it together, which I really like. That gives some replayability. And then there's the idea of creating mystery by not answering questions. And that just pisses me off. because it's like, and like there are times where you will have a story where they just say something and then never go back to it.
Yeah. See, there was a game, I just actually flipped to it in my old school like disc case, but there was a game that I played a while back. It was actually one that I don't know why, but I felt it kind of like call to me when I was looking at games, because my aunt, when I was a kid, would take me, my brother, my sister, and my cousin. For birthdays, we would go to Best Buy. She'd
Right.
be like, or like if we were ever at Best Buy and it was somebody's birthday or close to it, we would all help to find a gift there, or and it was of course for the kids more than it was for like trying to find adults gifts there.
I would hope there aren't adult gifts.
Oh my god. But yeah, so we would go there, and you know, I was a big fan of Duel Masters. I had a thing with TCG games and TCG in general as a kid, which is surprising how I never played Magic until I got to high school.
You should probably just explain to the viewers what TCG is.
So TCG is trading card games.
Yes.
I assume most of our audience would probably know what that is, but like, yeah, TCG, trading card games. So Magic, The Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Duel Masters are the big ones. There are a bunch of other ones that are weird for kids that they come up with because of TV shows that are okay. They're not great all the time. I know Duel Masters had a reboot with a show called Kaijudo, which was a very interesting take on that plot-wise and story-wise. But I digress. But like
Pokemon monsters, Pokemon.
Please stop. Don't do that. Oh, Digimon also had one. I actually enjoyed Digimon's.
Yeah.
Was their trading card game, because a buddy of mine actually, I still talk to him now, but I have a buddy who goes to, oh my god, what is that school? It's one in like Chicago or something. I don't remember. It's not DePaul.
How would I know?
It's the rival for DePaul. It's not Robert Morris. I don't even know how the hell I remember that. Robert Morris. So he goes to like Robert Morris, and he's on like their was it JV League of Legends team, but him and me like fanboyed so hard about Digimon so in America it's called Digimon Fusion. In Japan it's called Digimon Cross Wars, which is a much better title, makes much more sense.
That's right. We should have wars with Jesus.
Oh my god.
We must take on the Lord and Savior himself.
Alright. Hawk's going crazy right now. So, no, but like, where was I getting? No, that's a tangent. That's where that ends. Digimon's great. I love the series.
That's...
I would, if they ever decided to do season 2 for Digimon Fusion here and continue to dub it, I would love to do voice acting for it. But I realistically know that it'll never happen. So I've made my peace with it. But the game that I picked up as a kid was called Custom Robo, and they did this thing where you play through the story, and it's like robots. You dive into these cubes that have these robotic suits, and you fight on these miniature. It's really weird. Like your spirit or essence jumps into the cube with the miniature robots, and you fight each other. It's really weird when you think about it conceptually, and you're just like, what kind of future is this? And it's a future in which most of Earth is destroyed, and
So Wall-E.
we live in domes.
Oh, okay.
Like, we live in domes that are actually synthesized, but it looks like regular nature. Like, nobody knows that it's a dome until you leave the dome, which is only allowed to police and to people who are in gangs, because they work on the outside. But I digress. Like, how the game has you progress is, like, you beat the final boss, and there's so many questions about, like, your dad, who you find out was the leader of this criminal organization. But it's like, there are questions about the dad, there are questions about your job, like, what is next for you now, like, that a great evil is gone. And there's always that cliffhanger, like, that question, and it never gets answered unless there's a sequel. And I found that there was no sequel for Custom Robo as a kid very early on. I was really pissed until a secondary mode opened up. So there are 2 story modes. There's the main one where you beat that boss, and then there's a second one where they have you training against other people. They make a whole tournament just for you. So that way you can earn, I don't know, it's like earning the right to being the best fighter or whatever. So
kind of like
it's a very interesting thing, because then you see what happens post game to all of these people that you fought in the main story. You see all the gang members being reformed by manipulating their memory, because everybody has memory chips.
Okay.
And that's how they got everybody to forget that this horrible machine existed that became sentient, because it got out of the cube and it fights people by diving in as itself.
Okay.
And it's like an organism robot that it's really
so
interesting.
The secondary mode is like fighting the top 4 in Pokemon, essentially.
No, it's fighting everybody in the entire region.
Oh,
once.
Lord.
Like, it's everybody that you ever meet. Even your landlady. Like, your landlady fights you at a certain point. It's really funny and cool. But,
Where were you going with this analogy?
where I'm going with this... no, it's not even an analogy. It's like, where I'm going with this reference, though, is... that's a very good example of what doesn't usually happen anymore. Is like, they'll leave you with that cliffhanger of what happened to everybody, and you're left to your own vices, or your own devices. And that kind of sucks sometimes, because sometimes there's not enough information that you get in the game to even come up with an idea.
Yeah.
But through this game, they give it to you, which is really interesting. It's very interesting to see, to say the least.
You need at least enough information to formulate an assumption. Like, not everyone has to have the same idea of what happened, but you should at least be able to come up with your own answer to the mysteries proposed by the game. And then there are some games where they just don't give you anything near to that. I can't remember what it was. This would have been an RPG I played a couple years back, but it's like a kid comes up to you and as you're having a conversation, he mentions something about how his father went missing. Never comes up again. Never comes up again. You know, there's no like quest to go seek out this father. There's nothing like that. It's just kid's dad is missing.
I mean, I guess that's kind of like
that's just something that's thrown in. At that point, it's unnecessary exposition.
It is unnecessary exposition, but I feel like that's just like a common thing amongst some RPGs in the earlier 2000s and in the 90s. Yeah. That was very popular. It's just like, that's why you're playing as a kid as this unimaginable hero. There are no parents usually.
Yeah, no.
Anywhere.
But it was
I mean, like Final Fantasy X, like this is not a spoiler. You should know this. If you played past the beginning part of Final Fantasy X.
You mean the tutorial I died during?
Yes, past the tutorial.
I'm sorry, I sucked.
There were 2 of you. There were 2 of you playing the same game. How? There were double the amount of eyes.
I want you to know I wasn't the one using the controls at that time.
God. All right. Well, besides that, but it takes like all of, I don't know, not even like 10 seconds for you to go from the Blitzball Championship with Titus, which is his actual name.
Mm-hmm.
You can give him whatever fucking name you want.
I called him Pengus69.
Oh my god. But you can call him whatever, but his actual name that they give is Titus. So Titus
Pengus
goes from the was it Blitzball Championship, and there's like monsters and shit everywhere, and I can't remember. Oh my god, what is his name? It's not
the uncle. R starts with an R. Arius. R.
It's not Rowan. It's well, whatever his name is. I feel so bad because I haven't played Final Fantasy X in forever, but you get that kind of uncle, not biological uncle, but like your dad's best friend is your uncle most of the time. Like that's how they're introduced to you as a young child.
Right.
But you have your uncle give you your father's sword.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I think they give you... No, they don't give you Brotherhood. Brotherhood is the one that Waka gives you. I remember the characters later on, which is just so fucked up.
Waka. Sorry.
But, oh my god. So, he gives you your dad's sword. And hints at the fact that, Jet, who is your dad, does not exist anymore in this world.
See, but I feel like...
But like that, I don't know, it's a very popular thing to do for like Game Boy,
but it's like at least there...
PS2, PS1.
At least there you know things about the father. Like there are ways
You really don't know
like,
that
you,
much about the
you
father.
You don't know about him, but you know this is his sword. This is his best friend who you consider an uncle. You kind of have an idea of what happened to him, and then from there you can formulate assumptions and make up your own story. Like, I at least want that much as a minimum. Like,
I guess, but like
I know
there you didn't play that much through the tutorial though.
No,
like,
I didn't.
Literally,
like
the dad was a blitzball player.
Yeah.
Which is why why Titus hates being kind of compared or having him mentioned at all, because his dad was never there for him. Because his dad disappeared one day. That was it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what the fuck happened to him.
But it's like, you even know he's a blitzball player.
You know he's a blitzball player, but you don't know why the fuck he had a sword. You're just like, oh, here's a sword. It was your dad's. It's like, the fuck did this come from? He was an athlete. Why the fuck does he have a sword?
Well, it's like, that's one of those things that you can then make an assumption off of. What I'm talking about is literally when someone introduces an exposition and doesn't finish it with zero follow-up.
I guess. I mean, I guess I'm too used to games doing that. Like, I don't usually pick up a game that does that, where it doesn't give exposition. Which is kind of like really hard to find a visual novel that doesn't give you exposition.
Well, that's the point of a visual novel.
That's the point of a visual novel. It's essentially a story. Because I know, even in...
this is kind of getting into the writing things.
This is very writing.
How do you prefer character development?
Okay, so character development. I feel like you shouldn't just slam a shit ton of fucking backstory immediately the second they hit the screen.
Right.
You need to learn about them slowly. Like, there are certain characters like you learn more and more about them. Like, I played through White Knight Chronicles. Okay. And, oh my god, I can't remember any of the names because it's been so long, because I've played that game like 4 or 5 years ago. I can't fucking remember the names. But there's a girl that joins your team, and you find out that she's not who she says she is. Naturally, but it's through playing the story that you kind of learn a little bit more about each of these characters. There's, you start as your own character, which kind of, I don't know why that's a thing. It's nice for online play, but you have what is it? As you play, there is this other character. Or there's the actual main character who the story is about. Like they're the real main characters that the story is about, and you're just there, hanging around. And it's very interesting to see the development of certain characters in that game, where you're given one side of them, and you see them either develop very quickly for a small learning moment, where you have this prince who was adopted, resented his father, and for forever hated himself for not making it up to him, because his dad dies like partway through, and he's the one who gets the dragon knight kind of armor. Like he gets the armor granted to him by the dragon that's guarding it or whatever. It's his, and it's so interesting when you see it. When you see it happening, because he immediately goes from this childish person, and it's not immediately, like it's a very quick change if you could finish all the fighting and actual gameplay in 5 minutes. It actually takes you about 2 hours to actually get through from when you first meet him to
I don't know.
I
don't know.
I'm doing that because like I'm trying to hold back a burp, but it's like from hour 1 to from the beginning to hour 1 or to hour 2, however long it takes you to get from that chapter to chapter. You see him slowly wake up as a character, and it's very interesting, and you learn why he's just so resentful of himself and his father's, because he knows he is not his actual son,
Right.
and he's so resentful because he doesn't know where he comes from. And it gives such a deep, rich storyline, as opposed to just like slapping us with everything, his whole life story in 10 seconds.
It's like when there's a journey, you need to have a middle point.
I'll be back in a little while. Hawk's gonna take over for a bit.
Woo! Welcome to the Hawk Show. So, like, you need to have a middle point to every character arc. You have the problem when they start out, their journey, and then ultimately how they are now. And my issue is that you sometimes see characters that, while they aren't static, they aren't staying the same, they aren't really dynamic. They just sort of, at one point, there's this thought, this is what they are, and then the next point is, oh, they had a conversation and suddenly their eyes are open. Like, you can't just have an immediate shift. There needs to be a beginning to that changing process, and as time goes on, suddenly they are a different person. A great example of this, I was watching an anime a few weeks back, and essentially this character was extremely prejudiced towards another character for their, not really race, but like animalistic. It's a very weird anime. Anyway, so this character is prejudiced towards this other one, and then they help each other out in one battle, and suddenly no more prejudice, no more fear of what that type of person can do. And like, I understand that there is now trust between those two, but you need to build upon that. You need to explain why there was a shift in this mental state and kind of evolve it from there. Is it just that she trusts this one person? Are there times where she will occasionally revert back to her assumptions? But no, it doesn't cover that. It just sort of says, okay, I'm all better now. And sort of the reverse of that is when someone doesn't change at all. And I understand why there are static characters. They're very good for what they are. They serve a function in the story. But I've always had an issue with someone who is purely evil to be evil. When you have a character, they need to have a motivation. Even if their character doesn't change much or their opinions don't shift, there needs to be a motivation for what they are doing. And there are some sequences where they just give you the generic bad guy who is bad because they want to be bad. And I don't know, I just find that rather off-putting.
I probably should have told you to like pause.
I don't know.
Alright.
And we're back. Sorry
All
for
right,
that. Sorry for that quick jump cut. I started to ramble and run out of stuff without
Yeah,
Brandon here.
I'm so sorry. I had to take care of something.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, and flip me off.
Yours.
So
I heard you talking about character development, like static characters. Yeah, there is a lot of need for static characters. What I enjoy, and I haven't seen this in a lot of games. I've seen this in only one that I can actually speak from experience, which is actually no, I've seen it in two. I've actually seen it in two. So there are two characters where they are secret characters, so they're technically kind of important, but they start off as static characters, like the basic people that you always talk to.
Right.
Or like there's always an interaction in some form to help you move along in the game. Rarely is it that they come with their own backstory and then they come into the game to be played by you. And it happens a lot in Final Fantasy. Persona 3, I know, does it with the use of, oh my god, what is... I keep forgetting names. I'm going to look this up real quick, but I'm going to continue talking. But like in Fairy Fencer F, they have Lola. Lola is... Yes, she's a static character, but she essentially breaks so many rules because she interacts with you so much, and then she just ends up going and joins your party if you complete her quest lines and whatever bullshit that they came up with for the game, which is...
like static characters aren't inherently bad. They're great because it gives something to bounce off of. But my issue comes with what happens when a character doesn't have any real motivation.
Oh,
they're just sort of there to be there.
That is a lot of them. That is a lot of characters. You know what, fuck it. I'm not gonna look up the name of the Persona 3 character, but if you've played through it, you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, it's the guy in the red coat with the black beanie on. Like, that's... I don't remember his
Bob
fucking
Marley?
name. No, it's not Bob Marley. But yeah, character development is very interesting. I know in my own work when I write, it's very trying to come up with ideas for your own work, for your characters, because
Right.
it's difficult. It really is fucking difficult to come up with a way to let your characters really grow.
Yeah, and
I know
mean, we were discussing this earlier with the thing I'm writing for Grand Theft Auto. Like, you need to be able to focus on how do they interact with this current situation. And, you know, do they grow from that, or do they kind of recede back into their current selves?
Yeah. And sometimes you can have growth that is regressive. It's very hard to do that one.
Yes,
It's very hard
You
because
can
like
have
I've done it
negative
once.
growth. Yes,
I know. Hawk is actually. You've actually read this.
Mm-hmm.
The 10-minute play that I wrote.
Yes.
That is the only instance that I feel if your game is designed to actually be very short, and there's no way to flush it out, or if you're writing like a 1-act play or a 10-minute play, that is when you need like drastic growth in your characters to happen,
Yes.
so that people become invested in them. But it makes sense because there's such a short time period that people are very interested in what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So for the one that I wrote, it was just, you get a lot of characters that can kind of be static. The main antagonist, there's like the voices, the physical manifestation, like I have it as a physical manifestation of the person's insecurities and pain and sorrow and just like poor memories and like this darkness inside of them that eats away, which a lot of people have. Like I feel like everybody has that. It's just like moving past from it, or like taking the advice, or like taking what is being said to you and putting a positive spin on it.
Yes.
But for that, what essentially the problem was the character didn't change as much, and it was only through other characters being near them that they seemed to actually be a valid character. So there are a lot of characters that end up being used kind of as like a sub main character.
Yes.
That aren't really sub main characters on their own if you took them out of the situation. So you have to kind of, when you're doing character development, you have to see, are you actually making a unique character that's semi, like, not large growth or not just, just drastic growth?
For a situation like that, you almost have to focus on the climax of the story. You have to look at it and say, here's how I would normally react. And say, I as the character, would normally react, and then here's what's going on. Maybe I should switch to doing it like this. Like, there's that thought process there. So yeah, I don't know.
Writing is yeah. Yeah. It's hard to make balance.
Yeah,
so
no.
It really is.
That's why I like being a Libra. No.
Coming from, like, writing perspectives, like, I used to not share my work ever. I do now. In very small amounts, because I do like to have my work completely flushed out. I want it to be 100%. I do tend to run into problems of being very lazy and not doing a lot of it. Like, I'll forget to do it, and
I wouldn't even call
difficult.
it laziness. You seem to get stressed by the perfectionist that you like to strive for in your work, so you put it off, is what I've noticed.
Yeah, it's very hard, because, like, I struggle with this too for the D&D campaign that I run in my family. Like, I run one just for my family, and it's so interesting. It's so interesting.
You've said
when
that
I
twice.
think about it, because I use a lot of other sources, and just it's really hard when you think about it from a developer's standpoint. Because on the one hand, yes, you're making very unique and interesting material. The problem is, will it make sense? / can you actually make a large story from this?
Yes.
And there's a big problem with that. It's like, it doesn't happen a lot. I know I do it quite a bit, where it's just like, I will be inspired by something, and then I won't think of the repercussions or the need to expand or create that backstory.
Right.
And a lot of the time I feel like that happens too in writing, and it shows up in games. Because we're trying to talk in general for writing and games. We are primarily gaming channels, but we are trying to, like, kind of keep this a little bit broader.
Broaden that scope.
But, like...
Yeah. And jump cut again.
I don't know where I was starting beforehand, but sorry for that weird cut.
Yep, not knock at the door.
Unfortunately, one of our... Not unfortunately, like, one of our roommates happens to be an RA, so we just had a resident looking for them, and we didn't know where they were, so
Yeah.
we spent some time trying to help them out.
By the way, while you're standing, it's really hard for the microphone to hear you.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Currently,
I'm sitting back down.
Currently, there is 0 Spike, and Spike is back. Okay.
Well, shit. I'll repeat what I said. So sorry for the weird cut. If you did hear it the first time, well, suck it up. So, so it's kind of yeah. Our roommate's an RA. One of our roommates is an RA because we have a 4-person apartment.
Yes.
But yeah, we had a resident looking for him. We didn't know where he was.
Yeah, we don't know where he is.
We're trying to, like, help
so we
him
had to
out.
have that conversation.
Yeah, we were really trying to help them out.
Because it's checkout time right now. People are going home for summer, so they need to have their rooms cleared.
Yeah. I don't remember anybody being signed up for today. It couldn't be that.
I don't know. Maybe it was just another RA that I've never seen stopping by.
I don't think that was.
I don't think so.
I think
It's a human being. It's a human being. We don't know.
Oh. But yeah, so back on writing. It was just such a weird fucking segue.
Great segue. Great Paul Blart.
I think the important thing when it comes to writing is, even if you don't think it's good, write it. Write it down, take note of it, because
you can come back to it.
You can come back to it. You can always flesh it out later.
Yes.
You don't have to have a full novel, like, day one.
No. I was saying face it.
Oh.
Don't move the microphone.
Oh,
God, that's a spike.
But you don't need to have the full novel written. You can have, like, maybe the name.
All you need is a concept.
Characters. You need the concept. That's it. And to be honest, like, I've written things or, like, come up with ideas that I've written down, and they're just broad ideas. And I've come back later and ended up writing, like, pretty good baseline stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up, like, I took an idea that I had, I want to say 4 or 5, no, not 4 or 5. I think I was in high school. So it was like, yeah, it was about...
At least 4.
At least 4 years, maybe 5. 4 or 5 years ago. And I really wanted to write a play about, depression and what it's like dealing with child psychology, because in a lot of the world it's not a large priority.
No,
a lot of the time people think it's like a phase.
Like you used to be a psychology major, so it makes sense why you would focus on that.
And a lot of the issue with me writing it was I didn't know where to start. So I had that idea, and I wanted to make it more when I first started, I wanted to make it more fanciful, more fantasy-esque. And it was really weird for a while, because it was going to be a novel that, sorry, I keep doing that. It was going to be a novel. I either have to talk louder or face the mic to get picked up.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, so, I don't know how much they can hear.
The issue in that I had was I had to, it probably will help if I, like, actually scooch my...
Yeah, break the table, why don't you?
Oh, fuck, it's not my table, it's yours. So, like, the problem I had was I wanted it to be a novel, but I didn't know how to flesh it out that much.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I studied enough psychology, I actually read articles, there was not enough for me to write a full novel. And the way I wanted to write it in the fantasy world manner was not going to work. So, I put the idea away for a while. I still had the idea in my head, I had a couple things written down, and I ended up changing it entirely when I wrote it as a very short, 4-page scene for a theater class that I had.
Okay.
I later on, 2 years later, this past, not this semester, but the fall semester, I ended up writing it into a full 10 pages. Granted, I had worked on it tirelessly, multiple times, coming back to it time and time again.
I want to say there were at least, 4 to 8 drafts? Like, there was a point where you showed me this work before you were doing it for an assignment, and it was just a packet, and it was very interesting to look through. Yeah,
beforehand, it was... Gosh, I want to say it was like about 8 iterations. And then from that spawned other iterations of taking it down different paths. There was always the main one, but there were side ones that I tried.
Just sort of tinkering with the idea.
I ended up around 15, I think. No, not 15. I'm thinking of something else. I ended up around like 11 or 12 iterations of the same work, and it just goes to show us like that one idea that I scribbled down on like a piece of notebook paper, like a napkin, flushed out into something that I was proud enough to be able to send to a competition. Unfortunately, it wasn't picked, but I felt confident enough in the piece to have it
go
be
through.
looked at.
And like it was
professionals.
a part of a series of shows on campus, right?
It was part of a series of shows, and it was very interesting. My family saw a lot of the undertones in it. They saw a lot of the personal psychology that I put behind it, from personal experience and things. But it was very interesting for them because they had seen it and they could see and connect with it on a different level than other people could, even people
Right.
that knew me very well. And it was very interesting to be able to see that because a lot of people picked out a lot of different things that I wouldn't have been able to do had I just dropped the idea altogether. There are so many things that when it comes to writing, you can find inspiration from anywhere. I remember I was I'm trying to think. I was now I'm so far away from the mic. I remember that I was watching some stuff on Facebook, like some of those videos, and there was one that popped up about this artist who was digitally removing tattoos and symbols from ex-gang members. It was very interesting, and I ended up writing a very short play, not play, but like a short scene about, some gang members, the idea of newer gang mentality versus old, where you have the one that's about community and protection, protecting your family, and you have this kind of paradigm shift, in which now it's more common to find a gang that's in it for the money or the power or just the excitement of maybe being caught.
I mean, and we're coming up on like an hour and a half point, so we're probably gonna wrap this up.
I think we're gonna wrap it up.
It'll be a bit short because of the jump cuts in there, but like, what are some closing remarks you want to make?
Definitely, because writing was really the main theme for this one. Definitely, when it comes to writing, every idea is a good idea. It just
takes effort.
Isn't there yet.
Yes,
it's not going to be perfect the first time through. It's like a gem. When you first find a gem, it's usually in a rock, and you have to chisel out the actual gem from the rock and refine it to make it these beautiful rock, or like these beautiful pieces of jewelry, or these beautiful crystals that people use or buy or purchase, these things that dazzle and amaze us. It takes so much time to refine them. That's what a good idea for like a game or for a play or for a novel, like anything that you're writing, even music, even for music, it takes time, but the worst thing you can do is not write down your ideas. There's no harm in writing something down and not having it be complete, because it's really hard to come up with every little scenario or whatever, coming up with every little detail about this world
I
that
mean,
you're trying to create.
even if you don't finish it, the fact that you tried is what's important there. I mean, creativity is one of the best things about mankind. It's a beautiful thing, and I feel like people should never have to feel like they should put something off or stop creating. Everybody has something that they're passionate about, and I feel like these days society is so focused on what we can obtain that we aren't focusing on what we can do. So I mean, that's just something to look at.
Yeah. And I mean, character development, we hit it so hard. It's honestly what you want your story to tell. If you want to focus on only one character, focus on that one character. All the subsequent characters around them, yes, they might be static. Yes, they might not have such fleshed out backstories sometimes. But if your main focus is to only tell the story of one person or from one perspective, do it. Don't try to change your story to what is the norm. Like, do what you want to do. You should never change it for another person. And that's what's so crucial when you create characters for your worlds, or for your novel, for your play, your game. When you create those characters, you have to make that decision. Is this going to be about their journey, or is it going to be something that they will change along this journey, but it's more about the journey than it is about the people in it?
Right.
It's a very crucial decision.
Okay. So bouncing off of that, this has been our first episode of the 360 Perspective podcast. This has been Hawk with Infinity HD Productions.
And Libris Blood.
From Libris Blood.
I don't even need to say from whatever channel. It's like just Libris Blood. Look me up on YouTube.
You plebe. No. Well, thank you for coming out. Have a good one.
Catch y'all later.